Moving on to other news now, cultivated meat, also called cultured or cell-based meat, is made from animal cells livestock doesn't need to be killed to produce, which is better not just for the animals but also for the environment. An Australian company, Vow, lifted the glass cloak on the mammoth Meatball that is made out of lab-grown cultured meat using the genetic sequence from the long-extinct mastodon. Vow used publicly available genetic information given the right conditions in the lab. The cells multiplied until there were enough to roll up into the meatball. According to experts, if the technology is widely adopted, it could vastly reduce the environmental impact of global meat production in the future. So far, Singapore is the only country to have approved cell-based meat for consumption.
And Europe? Europe is lagging behind in terms of
to get people excited about the future of food being different to potentially what we had before. That there are things that are unique and better than the meats that we're necessarily eating now. And we thought the mammoth would be a conversation starter and get people excited about this new future. But also the woolly mammoth has been traditionally a symbol of loss. We know now that it died from climate change. And so what we wanted to do was see if we could create something that was a symbol of a more exciting future that's not only better for us, but also better.
In the U.S., a Massachusetts woman and her granddaughter used their hands to put finishing touches to a colorful blanket they are making for immigrants coming into the United States. And they are in a group of men and women who are knitting and sewing blankets intended to make immigrants feel more welcome in the country. The handmade blanket, one of dozens of artistic blankets that crafters have sewn, crocheted and knitted as gifts for refugees in the Vermont community. It is part of the National Welcome Blanket Project, a crowdsourced artistic action supporting refugees settling in the U.S. One of the refugees, Kalyan Adhikari, said the Vermont project was such a kind and warm initiative and it makes refugees feel welcome and a little bit more like they are home. To date, thousands of blankets and notes have been created around the country for shows, including in Atlanta, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Winooski, Vermont.
And to live freely for almost 80 years.
Blanket is a large-scale art activism project where people across the country and the world are crafting welcome blankets, which are 40 inches by 40 inches, easy to care for, and they hurt to give away because the makers love them so much. And they include notes about stories important to their families about immigration, migration, and relocation with words of welcome.
Kinds of things is a good initiative and which makes them feel welcome and feels like home a little bit closer than before.